Book him, Dino. Book him.
in time.
Once you begin burrowing beneath the surface.
Gift Shop. This is The Sam Hyde Show. Payload contents of tonight's show include memories recovered from inside a snow globe and a soldier who believes his bones are encrypted. And now, your host. He dreams in perfect Latin and screams in Vanta Black, Sam Hyde.
We're waiting for the titles to finish animating. Guys, tonight's guest is former U.S. Marine. No, it's not Jocko. You know how you know it's not Jocko? Because I'm not in jail yet. Former U.S. Marine turned outspoken peace activist known worldwide for his blunt, uncompromising criticism of pop music, of Western foreign policy. Who wrote pop music? Why would you do that in the thing? He's been a key figure in multiple high-profile humanitarian missions, including the Gaza Freedom Flotilla, and he's appeared on international outlets like BBC, RT, and Press TV, usually causing the host to sweat through their suit jacket. His activism spans decades, from environmental work to anti-war advocacy, and whether you agree with him or not, he's one of the most fiery and fearless commentators on geopolitics today. Please welcome Ken O'Keefe, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah! Ha ha! Oh yeah! Let's dig in. What was your childhood like? Why?
Oh, well, you know.
Don't answer that. Why would you write that?
That was the network.
What flavor ice cream do you like? There's people dying right now. We could talk about ice cream for half an hour to get warmed up.
Why not?
Should we go into your personal history? You want to talk about the Marines and whatnot?
That is sort of the red pill moment for me because I never had any intention of joining the military. I really didn't, but I remember Blockbuster. Remember that?
Yeah.
You used to go down to the Blockbuster and, you know, get the latest releases and whatnot. And I had wanted to see the movie, but I hadn't. And it came out in video a couple years after it was released in theater, but Full Metal Jacket. I had zero intention of joining the military. My dad was in the Navy and so on. And I had a job as a waiter in a French restaurant. I moved out of my mom's place. I was living a great life. But I sat there and I started watching Full Metal Jacket, which is like a documentary, literally. Like they filmed that at Paris Island where my brother Marcus over there, he went to boot camp and I went to MCRD in San Diego. But they actually put those actors through a mini boot camp, literally. Like you can't teach an actor how to march in unison and do formations and da-da-da-da. So anyway, that's how authentic that movie is. I was watching the movie and like in the first 5 minutes, I was like, yeah, that's what I need right there, because I've always admired, you know, strong men and whatnot. And, you know, back in that day, and the Marine Corps commercials were really good, honor, integrity, even using like the Knights of Arthur, you know, at the round table, like taking the oath and the few, the proud.
That's badass.
It worked.
I remember that era of old-fashioned Marines advertising on TV with like the sword. Was there a sword?
Yeah.
And some shining text?
I decided like that, and I told my mate who I was watching it with, I'm like, dude, I'm going to sign up. He didn't believe me.
Was your experience like this?
In a way. Yeah, there it is. That's it right there, honestly.
Was this what the being in the Marines was like?
Well, that's an officer, so we have to make a distinction between the officers and the enlisted guys. I was enlisted. It affected me. It did. It definitely did. And I didn't sign up for the Navy. I did not sign up for the Air Force. I did not sign up for the Army. I didn't even just sign up for the Marines. I'm not doing this to get some job after I get out. No, I'm doing this to be a man. And at that time, you know, while I wasn't the most blindingly stupid, false patriot idiot, I did see my nation as the greatest. Plus, my daddy didn't love me properly, right? My dad was an abusive father.
Nice.
Yeah, it worked out really well. I love him. God bless you, Dad. But he motivated me, right? Like, I will impress you, Dad. You know, and he did. He was proud of me for about 5 minutes until I became a machine gunner, which is a really heavy responsibility in an infantry unit. Carried the M249 SAW. And everything was going good, and I was earning my position. I made it up to E3, Lance Corporal.
What era is this, Ken?
So I joined in 1989.
Okay.
And I got out in 92, and I went to the first Gulf War. But I remember when I went through boot camp and I took that oath, I remember feeling at that time like, this is serious, man. I mean, we're invoking God here, and this is an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, to fight all enemies, foreign and domestic. I took that deadly serious, and I remember the oath having an impact on me. But one of the things they say all too ironically about the Germans, right, just following orders. If you actually listen to the oath is you state your name, I, so-and-so, swear to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, to fight all enemies, foreign and domestic, to bear true faith and allegiance to the same, to follow the orders of the President of the United States and the officers appointed over me, according to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, so help me God. Now, within the oath, you have the Uniform Code, which is referred to, and within the Uniform Code, you have articles that make clear if you're given an unlawful order, your duty is to refuse the order. And if, to give an example of an unlawful order, say you have POWs, they've been disarmed, they're not a threat, and your commanding officer says, shoot him. That's a war crime. Now, if your officer in charge ordered you to execute a prisoner, that's an unlawful order.
Fuck. I'm sorry, I thought it was like a test. Unlawful order.
Your duty is not only to reject the order, but if you had an officer above you who was ordering you unlawfully to execute somebody, not only is your job to refuse the order, your job would be at that point to take your weapon. You're under arrest. Literally, as a lower ranking guy, your duty would be to put your commanding officer under arrest for the unlawful order. Now, if you play this out logically, why is the military not as strong as it used to be? Well, if you have abuse of power, just like we see through the halls of Congress, the corporate world, everywhere, nepotism and all this kind of crap. If we have a leadership that abuses power, what is the lesson? The lesson is that once you get ranked, screw over the lower ranks and get yourself the bigger cut of the pie. And there you have it.
That's a good idea.
Now, if we have orders and we have leaders by example, that emboldens and it strengthens the military, makes it better. We've even had Hegseth. Look at that asshole.
What?
Hegseth.
He's like a Chad, though.
He is, literally, yeah.
He's got tattoos and whatnot, right?
He's an embarrassment.
He's got the Boondock Saints tattoos.
Did you watch when he got all...
The Boondock Saints? Why do we not like Hegseth here? What's wrong with him? He's in Fight Club right there. Look at him. He's fucking awesome. This guy's badass.
Templar.
He's like Chet Hanks, kind of. What's wrong with him? What did he do bad?
He's pumping steroids, too. I can always see that shit.
That's weird. That's not.
We all are.
We got the unlawful order, and I'm the guy that was like, no, I didn't sign up to just follow orders. That's all too ironically what they say about the German Nazis, right? I refused the order. I reported my command, and I went from being the best Marine, literally, perfect PFT test, rifle, expert, third award, you name it. I was top game. But the moment I did that, and then I owned up to it, I said I was the guy that did it. My command did similarly to Private Pyle. Remember, Private Pyle was fucking up left, right, and center. Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, his drill instructor, was hammering him, which a lot of people misinterpret like, oh, that's going a bit too far. No, it's not. You're preparing people in Vietnam to go off to a bloody war that is going to be horrendous. And if you are not up to high standards, you will crumble. You will crumble at the moment of truth when you're dealing with your life on the line. You'll be the guy that will run and leave your man behind. You're the guy who is not the people that I look up to. The people I look up to are not the people who say, charge. No, they're the ones saying, follow me. That's the leader by example, ready to take the bullet first. That makes a military force stronger. And this is part of what I love about Adolf. I mean, the guy was an infantryman. I have 70 things in common with this guy. And it was only through my studies that I saw it. He was an infantryman. He was exposed to chemical weapons. He was also had an abusive father. He had a loving mother. He was a Catholic, But he was a warrior. He's been in a war. How many of these pencil-pushing, chicken hawk bastards send us off to wars? And one of the interviews I did many years ago, I had one of these guys, Washington mouthpieces, and he was talking about how we need to go into Syria, a la Iraq, to protect the people and all that. And I said to him, you are going to send more Americans off to die in more Israeli wars. I want you to send your kids, since you're supporting this, you send your kids and your grandkids off to that war.
Chris, I can juggle two things now. Did you know that? Where are you going? Hang on a second. Knick Knack Naturals Dissolvable Nicotine Lozenge. Their products are made with premium ingredients and they're manufactured in the USA. There is no big tobacco in the background. Knick Knack Naturals are crafted for the optimal flavor experience. No slimy pouch, no mystery ingredients, just a black woman getting her ass beat. Yeah. Not because she's black. Okay, guys?
She's evil.
She's evil. I could tell from her eyes that she was a bad guy. Don't spit. You have to hold it in your mouth. That's how they work. Don't spit that out. That's worth money. That's like 3 cents worth of spit. Why did you do that?
I don't know.
Knick Knack Naturals are crafted for the optimal flavor experience. Knick Knack offers a range of straightforward flavors that don't try to hide what they are. Bright citrus, cool mint, just change the color so it looks like it's a different thing. Smooth berry. Right now, when you go to knickknack.com/SamHyde and use code SAM, you'll get 20% off all orders at checkout. That's promo code SAM for 20% off at knickknack.com/SamHyde. No unexpected fillers, just what's listed on the label. Don't explode your chest, but if you do need nicotine, these are good.
Knick-knack naturals. These are good.
Those of us who've been in war, there's nothing fucking glorious about this, man. The only glorious war would be one truly defending your nation and your family and your children and your wives and, you know, all of that, your national integrity. But what war have we fought in the last century that has been a defensive war? Not a single one. They're all offensive wars, and in more recent history, the first war that I was in, that was the first step of the Greater Israel Project. Why did we attack Iraq? Did they actually pose a threat against? No. But that's the number one link in the chain of Greater Israel. Iraq was target number one. Milikowski/Netanyahu said this himself.
Who's Milikowski?
Fake Jew from Poland who claims he has some sort of Semitic connection.
When you said fake Jew, why'd you point at Valentine?
You know how gay people have gaydar? I got Judar, man. I can spot that shit. By the time I got out of the Marine Corps, I was like, okay, Ken, you were wrong about the Marine Corps. What else are you wrong about? And that's where I got out of the Marine Corps and committed to two things. One, I will never give up my freedom again for anybody. Two, truth became God to me. The truth is that you got fooled, motherfucker. You were a mercenary for the banksters. You were cannon fodder. You're one of the suicide victims, 22 a day and so forth. That's what you are, and you got used and abused. You were a fucking idiot, Ken. I don't like being an idiot. So I came out of the Marine Corps with the total dedication to truth, and I studied voraciously, and I read a multitude of books. And the further I got into it, I was like, dude, every single thing we've been told is bullshit. I'm a historian. I study history. I study philosophy. I study spirituality. And I test my theories, and I put myself in dangerous positions, and I don't have fear. And I only serve one master, and it's God. And he's going to judge me perfectly. He knows every single thing I've ever done. He knows my subconscious. He knows everything perfectly. He's my judge. He's the only one I submit to and answer to. Everybody else can go fuck themselves, quite frankly, especially if they want to intimidate me. So when I got out of the Marine Corps, it just was my red pill. And it set me on a course, and the man you see today as a result of that. So I'm eternally grateful to the Marines, and I love the Marines. I don't hate the Marines. I love America. I know that what I'm doing is patriotic. And if we had more men who stood up and did the right thing, our country would not be in this shit show with rampant pedophilia, millions of missing children, Joe Biden touching kids, Donald Trump trying to cover for Epstein, pedophiles everywhere, millions of children missing. We as men are abject failures. I've been saying it, I'll keep repeating it. We as men have failed badly. We have not honored our most sacred duty to protect our children, to protect our women, to root out the enemies inside the gate, to stand up and do what men do. Don't back down. Don't submit to anybody but God. And even then, we have all the infiltration and subversion of so-called religion and whatnot. But for me, it was the greatest blessing ever. So I'm not bitter about it. I love the Marines. I really do. If we were ready to do an actual war to defend the homeland with real command and whatnot, I'd go back to boot camp today.
We should do one of those Andy Elliott courses.
Yeah.
You and me, let's go do that.
Let's do it, man. That would be fun.
Get really one of these guys screaming in our faces, getting the hose.
One of the things that I would say is actually correct about Israel is that they do have mandatory service. Like everybody has to serve You have your refuseniks and whatnot who refuse, and God bless them. I think every young man in particular should be put through a boot camp type experience that really pushes you into very uncomfortable positions. Because one of the things as well that I love about the Marines, there's like a saying, it's like your toe hurts or you got a fever. I never ever reported in sick. I was always on duty as required, did my job. But look at all these whiny little bitch beta males we got running around here, whining about this or whining in the Marines. Quit your bitching, man. Get it done. What is this pussy ass crap? Is your pity party bigger? I'm Irish, mate. They tried to fucking genocide us for 800 years. So you black folk and whatnot, get over yourself. I don't want reparations. I want to give a bloody nose to the bastard who wants to try and use me as the white nigger I am, right? I'm a white nigger. I embrace that shit.
Now guys, this is an ad. Check the bar at the bottom. That's the ad progress timer. You'll notice we're almost a third of the way through, so it's not worth it to click ahead. Okay, so you've decided to kill a family of 4 trying to imitate something you saw in a Japanese cartoon. Good. First, you're gonna need to buy a badly flood-damaged car off Facebook Marketplace from a hot girl drifter.
You're so cool. Could you show me how to drift? I only know how to wrench on these cars. I built this myself. My dad and brothers showed me about cars, so you could show me how to drive.
It's not a hot girl, it's AI. You got scammed again, but you got the car, you're good to go. Now pay attention, because here comes the important part. Once you actually hit the track and the car's braking every 20 freaking minutes, you're gonna wanna go to Chase Bays. Chase Bays makes high-end motorsport fluid transfer products. These are not one-size-fits-all universal products, though they have those too. These are kits for your car. You don't need to do a bunch of shit to get it to fit right. It's just there in the box, ready to go. Crankcase pressure, fuel delivery, inconsistent power brakes. You need a handbrake, you need a catch can. Chase Bays has it. They even have Luke Valentine rolling his muscles out. If you ask nice enough. Every part is tested on track by Chase Bays and over 10,000 customers. They have over 8,000 5-star ratings. Every hose is individually pressure tested by them in their shop. And because the seller isn't located in Wangzong, it shows up actually fitting the car. If you're tired of fighting your car, or if you just want a good-looking engine bay, go to chasebays.com. Get the kit for your chassis. If you don't know what you're doing, their site literally walks you to the right kit for your application. Or you just want Luke Valentine rubbing his muscles. They got pictures on the site. Look at that. Chase Bays. Spend your day driving, not fixing.
Well, that was a great product. I'm really excited that we get to use these products, and the company that it was just talked about, they're pretty good people. Now, why is peace the end of the Jewish project?
Brought to you by My Pillow.
Brought to you by... Why is peace the end of the Jewish project? Brought to you by My Pillow.
Shall I answer?
Yeah, please.
The only winners in war are the bankers. Bankers love war. Maybe that explains why we're constantly at war. Because I tell you what, the guys who lose their legs, the guys who commit suicide, the guys who become drug addicts because the military just doses them with a bunch of drugs, they're not winning. They die of starvation and diphtheria and cholera and all the things that come with war. Their limbs are blown off and their lives are destroyed. Their trauma is deep. Who wins? The bankers.
Why are we at war?
Number one, us dumbass goyim are fighting Jewish wars so we can be fighting each other. And as long as us dumbass goyim are sitting here fighting each other, then they're laughing. They're laughing like, look at those dumb goy. Look at them. We got the blacks against the whites. We got the Muslims against the Christians. We got everybody fighting everybody. Meanwhile, they're laughing about it. Plus, in war, who makes money in war? Well, the defense contractors. Who owns that? Who's BlackRock and Vanguard? Oh, it's that fucking group again. Who wins when you build the weapons that are then sold that we pay for with our taxes? We then invade countries. We destroy lives. We create hatred. We foster terrorism. And then they make money on the front end, investing in the weapons in the war. Then they make money during the war, selling the defense contractors, getting all that. Then they make money in the reconstruction after the war. And who's financing all of that? The bankers. So of course they love war.
You're saying the Jews like war because it sort of causes the rest of the world to be in disarray. Is this what you're sort of saying?
That's certainly a big part of it, yeah.
And Jews like that. Why?
I've said this for decades. The last thing, what we were told about the Jewish state of Israel was that they had no partner in peace. The Muslims are all a bunch of fanatical, Western hating, they hate us for our freedoms, terrorists. That's what Palestinian was synonymous with terrorists. So they have us believing that they were the ones that were reasonable, but they don't have a reasonable partner in peace. The fact is that peace is the end of the Jewish project. The absolute end, a just peace, no less, would end their Jewish supremacist ethno-state, literally. You're indebting the nation. You are pitting people against each other, so that fosters the whole goyim fighting each other when they should be uniting.
Indebting the nation is to pay for the war. Yeah. You need to borrow money. Is that what that means?
Wars are bloody expensive. Very expensive.
And you don't just pay cash for that. How do you pay for it? You borrow money?
Who prints the money also charges interest for us to get the money, which John F. Kennedy ended, and then, well, something happened to him. The business of war achieves many things, but with regard to Israel and why peace would be the end of their project, we also need to look at things like the tactics of the Middle East. And very famously, in more than one interview, the Project for a New American Century laid this out, the so-called neocons. They wanted to do everything they've done since this so-called war on terror. And they famously said that we need a, quote, new Pearl Harbor type event.
Who said that?
That was like Wolfowitz and all the other Jewish neocons, Wolfowitz being one of the top Gs. Cheney would be your Shabbos Goy, and that note, always a servant to them. Mm-hmm. But he was also behind that kind of agenda.
A servant with gold chains, a servant with golden boots.
And he just died. I did not cry an extra tear for Dick Cheney at all. If you look at the Middle East, what they said, there's something called Oded Yunan's strategy for Israel in the 1980s.
Setting the goyim against one another. Why does that benefit Jews?
Because it ensures that we'll never unite. They say the 1%. They're not even 1%. They're 0.2%. If we did unite in any meaningful way, we could overpower them like that. Boom, done. But we don't. We're fighting each other. One boogeyman after another, constantly propped up in front of us. So now we're sending the best of our own sons and daughters, especially the sons, off to fight wars. And at the end of it, we get high suicide rates, depression, all the poisons that are used in war. I'm a human guinea pig as well. The first Gulf War, George Bush Sr. Here's another little interesting tidbit. They say Adolf Hitler experimented on humans. That's what they say. Well, George Bush Sr. ordered us in a time of war to be injected with a raft of what is admittedly, provably, undeniably experimental drugs, supposedly to protect us. That is exactly what they accuse Adolf Hitler of. Involuntary human experiments. That is exactly what George Bush Sr. did to me, and also to my brother Marcus over here, who's also served as a Marine.
Did Hitler not do experiments on human beings?
The most controversial things you could say is his belief was that a form of eugenics, like if you're born as whatever we used to call like retards, mongoloids or whatever.
So Hitler euthanized mongoloids? What
he said was that we should sterilize them.
Do people with retardation, do they fuck?
They do.
I've never heard of that in my life. Is that a thing?
I thought that there was laws against some of them.
What about all the Muslims in America and Europe that suck?
Call them out. If you're grooming young
Can we
girls,
call them out and also eject them from the country?
I believe in law. So if you have lawfully been born in this country, we cannot eject you according to the law based on your spiritual practice. That would be completely counter to the teachings and the obligations and duties under the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
The alternative is being outbred.
Well, there you go.
So
there's Europa, the last battle, and that's all about the white genocide. Yes, us white folk are dying out, flat out. We're in deep shit, actually.
So
we
you don't
better
think
start making some babies quick.
So you don't think it would be unlawful to eject people based on their spiritual beliefs from our countries?
Is it Muslim power that's fucking us up?
Yeah.
Give me a break, man. How obvious?
Partially, yeah.
If we're to compare objectively abuse of Muslim power and influence in America to the Jewish power, it's silly, actually. It's even insulting. It is very clear which of the three monotheistic religions wields the power, and it ain't Muslim.
If you go to one of these neighborhoods where Muslims have planted their roots, they do have the power. In places in Texas where they're building mega mosques and Dearborn, Michigan, and these the Somalian enclaves and they have the power. That's what they do. They don't run the TV stations, but they have power in numbers where they are.
This is favorable to the Jews to get into the disproportionate threat that this group of people that you're talking about, because the vast majority of Muslims are not doing what you're talking about. The vast majority of them are going to the mosque. They're practicing their faith. They are praying to the same God as us. They believe Jesus is king and he's coming back. They love Mother Mary. That's the majority of Muslims right there.
Europe is completely ruined.
It is, but that's because of Jewish wars in Muslim fucking nations that creates refugees that then flood into our country, which, by the way, the Jews have been saying that. Barbara Lerner Specter, have you seen her? Mm-hmm. What she said? Europe will not survive unless it embraces the multicultural agenda. She said it flat out.
I think there's a resurgence of anti-Semitism because at this point in time, Europe has not yet learned how to be multicultural. And I think we're going to be part of the throes of that transformation, which must take place. Europe is not going to be the monolithic societies that they once were in the last century. Jews are going to be at the center of that. It's a huge transformation for Europe to make. They are now going into a multicultural mode, and Jews will be resented because of our leading role. But without that leading role and without that transformation, Europe will not survive.
They create the wars based on false flags to kill a bunch of Muslims, which they don't like. They then get all these military age guys who are not like sex starved and coming over to our countries like Sweden, looking at these hot Swedish blonde chicks, and now they're committing rape. This is a problem, but let us address the root of the problem. First off, if we had actual law and we weren't invading nations based on false pretext, there'd be no justification for all you Muslims coming here in the first place. But we have invaded their nations. We have committed war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, torture, you name it, we've been doing it. So who the fuck are we to sit and bitch about the Muslims who've come here when we've fucking destroyed their countries? And who's behind that agenda? But we're going to focus on the Muslim? I'm not suggesting that you give a pass to people because they're Muslims. Hell no. If you're grooming children and you're caught in that shit, first off, let's beat the fucking shit out of you.
They're grooming children and they're caught in that shit and nobody's beating the fuck out of them because the rule of law has been totally evaporated.
Once again, who's behind the pedophilia? Who controls the porn industry? Fucking rabbis and all. Who fucking mutilates a child's penis and then sucks the bloody penis of a child and gives the child herpes because he's a destitute piece of shit synagogue of Satan disciple? This is a real problem.
You met Timothy, the bloody penis sucker?
Literally. What kind of people do this, man? Who the hell told you God wants you to mutilate the foreskin of a child and then suck its bloody penis and give it herpes? This is about as synagogue of Satan as you get. I'm not saying give a pass to the Muslims that are acting in an un-Islamic way, but let's be clear. Those that are doing these things, these Muslims that we're citing, those people are not Muslims. That is not Islamic. As a perfect example of that, by the way, Hamas, which I defended 100%, love and respect. I know what I would do if somebody was invading my nation and raping my people and torturing my people. Yahya Sinwar, the head of Hamas, the military wing who died. You remember seeing the video of him?
No.
That's a man for you. What would you do if someone was invading your country, raping, pillaging, stealing everything, lying about you, making you out like you're the terrorist? What would I do? I know what I would do. You couldn't pay me to be nonviolent. No fucking way. Sign me up, man. And what kind of man would sit there and turn a blind eye and roll over and be the coward? And how the fuck does that give your people any pride that you would do that? Fight. no matter what the odds. How many times did we hear 40 beheaded babies and rape? Didn't we not hear that over and over and over and over?
Well, they showed that Burger King AI picture.
Brisket.
Do you remember that?
The Burger King AI?
Brisket.
When that stuff happened, they came out with this picture that was, they said it was a dead baby that Hamas killed.
Right.
And it looked like fucking brisket.
Yeah.
It was also obviously AI generated.
Yeah.
It was a pretty awesome moment of Twitter history.
But here's the point I want to make with regard to Muslims and Hamas. First off, why do people say the Hamas? Hamas means Islamic resistance. That's what it means. By the way, it is not just exclusively Muslim resistance. There are Christian and agnostic resistance factions within Palestine, including the PFLP and the DFLP and other such things. Largely in the West Bank, it's very secular actually. But nonetheless, getting back to the Muslims, they were accused, Hamas, of raping and beheading babies. Even Joe Biden, remember when he said, I never thought I'd see children being beheaded. Remember him saying that? That was the president of the United States who said he saw video of that. And they even invited Candace Owens, remember? Like, will you come over? You know, come on over. And then people who have taken him up on that, who've seen the videos, have said on record, like, they didn't show us shit. You didn't show us a damn thing establishing any kind of credibility to any of these accusations. And famously, there were some really hot, we're talking like hot Israeli chicks that were taken as POWs back to Gaza and in the custody of Hamas. And you know what happened when they got released? Not only were they not beaten and clearly tortured, they were protected to the point where even one of those Israeli POW chicks, like really gorgeous, like a very attractive.
I don't want to hear that.
She is, nonetheless. And anyway, what she said was when they were getting bombed by the Hannibal Directive, right? So this is the Jewish state
Is this
killing
something
its
we
own.
can look up? Is this something we can see on the computer?
You
Where do we
absolutely
look up
can.
for this?
You absolutely can. If you Google Israeli hostage or POW, when she got out, she literally said, not only did they not rape, they actually gave coverings to these women because the Israeli women, they're showing their cleavage. They are the honey traps. They do this game. But in Islam, it's not proper. Like, I've been to Iran.
Who's Kash Patel's girl?
What's her name again?
Chingwa.
Oh, that's crazy.
She is confirmed an Israeli agent.
100%, yeah.
And I have confirmation of that.
Unit, what is it?
Unit Shlabab that she's from. Also, she's not hot, okay? She just has fucking splitter face, whatever you call that. People got to switch their standard for what they call hot. That
She looks
fucking
like-
thing.
The vampire from VHS, remember that?
No, but this stupid, you see that stupid looking thing is
Discount
hot.
What about Laura Loomer? Boy, there's a winner.
I don't really want
She
to
looks
talk.
like
I don't
a
want to
horror
do battle
movie
with Laura
character.
Loomer, all right?
We have a law on the show to not. It was a
We have
fax.
an anti-Laura Loomer law.
Yeah.
I don't want her crawling around in the parking lot out there trying to jump on my cock and ride it like a fucking bug. What?
Just to finish the point.
Yeah.
If you believe that you have a judge and that judge's name is God or Allah,
I don't believe the judge's name is Allah.
Creator, Father, whatever
I'll
works
probably
for
go
you.
with God.
If you understand the concept and accept the concept that you will be judged perfectly, the whole world may think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, but God will know everything you've done. He'll know not only what you've done, he knows your intentions, he knows your subconscious, he knows everything. And what I love about God more than anything else is that I do have free will, and I love that. To me, that's synonymous with being a parent. Every parent, most parents anyway, they have a vision of what they want their kids to be. We want the best for our kids, and we think, we want you to go this way or that way. And classically, like one of your children might get with a guy or a girl, and you just know this person is toxic, narcissistic, like destructive force. But you have to accept the fact that that's up to your child now, and they're going to have to make that mistake themselves, and you have to let it happen. But the point is that if you understand that there is a judge and that you will be judged, and there is a spiritual destination, and that destination is eternal, then you would start to put these things above all else, not materialism. Which, are you going to take your Rolls Royce and your Bentley and your diamonds to the next realm? No, you're not.
Is that not possible?
I'll bet they're trying to figure out a way, but so far I'm not seeing any evidence to support that. Hamas, the terrorist accused of rape, did not only not rape, they protected these women and gave them clothing and coverage because it's not appropriate to be sitting there ogling over a chick.
You're worried about rape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was worried to get raped.
Of course.
That old lady's getting chills.
Fortunately enough, they didn't do it.
She was given a hijab that covered most of her body.
There you go.
Just in the mind of an old lady where it's like the word rape is like, ooh. I'm sorry, that's too far. Nobody agreed with me. My bad. Okay, so they did not rape the good-looking
You know who does rape women?
Jewish.
The Jews. Do you know where they get to go when they rape our children? Back to the Jewish
heaven?
state. Do you know how many fucking pedophiles are hanging out in Israel with no extradition treaties?
A lot.
And we're going to sit here and talk about Muslims?
5.
How many fucking Muslims are in the executive branch and like all of the moneyed industries, BlackRock, Vanguard, all of it? And we're sitting here talking about Muslims and giving way too much to the Jew argument. Again, I'm not suggesting that the Muslims who are coming here and trying to create their own little Bantu stands of Islamic, Sharia law and all this kind of crap. I'm not saying that we turn a blind eye, and no, we should create laws that make this clear. If you don't wish to integrate into our Christian nation, you can practice your religion, but if you're trying to push that to the point that you're trying to turn us into Islamic, fuck you. There's ways to deal with that, but that is not the threat when you compare it to the
That
Jews.
you're saying is not a thing that could ever happen.
I agree.
Okay.
Jewish power can happen. It's right here, right now.
Okay.
And they hate our Savior. They think Mother Mary is a whore, and they believe that we're their slaves. And they have the right to rape us, as we've seen. Literally. They are on videotape raping Muslims, killing them by sticking hot metal rods into them, up into their upper intestines, into their chest cavity.
Where'd that happen?
Literally. This has happened, verifiably. There is no Muslim saying that they have a right to rape us.
I'm open to everything you're saying, but what you just said, there's no Muslim saying they have the right to rape us. That's
They're not citing
Absolutely
Islam or, okay.
not.
Any Muslim who says or thinks that they have a right to rape us is not basing that on Islam at all.
Sure,
at
but
all.
that doesn't matter. That's like a semantic distinction.
It's not semantic because the Jews have within their Talmud the right to rape us. 100%. Indisputably. Undeniably. You find me one thing in the Quran that would in any way justify anything like that. What you'll find if you study it truly is that it's the opposite of that.
Yeah, I just don't care about what a book says. My point is that there are Muslims doing rapes.
Okay, if you don't care about a book, it doesn't change the fact that within their book or their spiritual practice, just like Christianity, there is no condition at which you have the right to rape somebody else. And certainly not because you're chosen.
I'm not saying that the Talmud is good or that Jews are good. I'm just saying
I hope not.
that they're okay. They're pretty good. They're pretty cool guys. No, I'm just saying that if your holy book says that you have to be a stockbroker and whistle through a kazoo and eat Skittles, and then if you're an adherent of that religion, even if you're not a good adherent, if you go around raping people, it just means that this is like a group of people that are bad, and it doesn't matter what their holy text is or what their whatever.
Well, doesn't it?
No.
Why, if Christianity taught me that I have the right to rape because I'm a chosen one, I would have rejected it.
We're just talking about groups of people, like demographic, racial groups of people. It's not even about the religion. It's just brown people.
It makes a difference that the Talmud lays out the Talmudic Noahide laws that literally say we are all unchosen goyim slaves that they have the right to rape us. Keep in mind, I've lived in the West Bank and Gaza. I have met the people who resist, and every single one of them has been tortured and raped when they're in prison. This is normal.
Is this the thing where they put the shields up to block the cameras?
The story to this is that there is an Israeli politician in the intelligence agencies that actually leaked this footage, okay? Otherwise, we wouldn't have it.
The footage of the shields going
Yes.
up to protect the
Yes.
abusers, okay.
Yes. So what happened was, this is revealing too much about this actual spiritual practice of these people that Jesus rightly referred to as those who say they are Jews, but they are not. They are the synagogue of Satan. Satan, if we understand Satan to be an actual entity, what does Satan want to do? He wants to defile and destroy everything sacred and pure and innocent that God created. Let's just focus on Jewish power, its extent, the damage, its control over our government, its indebting of us financially, its never-ending, ceaselessly lustful desire for war, its 9/11, the USS Liberty, the Lavon affair.
What's the Lavon affair?
The Lavon affair was a plot to carry out false flags in the Islamic world to then frame them so that it would be able to foster what I referred to earlier, the Greater Israel Project, which is also articulated in Oded Yinan's strategy for Israel. They lay all this out in writing, and they're playing it out observably, indisputably, in real time. And the genocide, by the way, is no different in 2023 to that which was declared in 1933. What happened in 1933? Judea declares war on Germany. 14 million Jews of the world unite, calling for the destruction of Germany. I have a book called Germany Must Perish by Kaufman, who created that word Nazi. And in that book, it is the same as what they have done in 2023. They have said, kill every last man, woman, and child, the livestock, everything. Completely exterminate them.
In 1933?
Judea declares war on Germany.
Judea declares war on Germany?
14 million Jews of the world unite, calling for the... By the way, there were about 16 million Jews at that time, so they had uniform agreement, just like they do in Israel. Do you know how many of the people in Israel support open genocide and even nuking Gaza? About 98%. Is it 98% Muslims that think that America should be exterminated? No. That was the second largest circulation newspaper in the world. That is the Jews openly declaring their genocidal intent against Germany. By that logic alone, Adolf would have had a legitimate right and actually a duty to arrest all of them and deport them and get the fuck rid of them. You guys say you want to exterminate us.
It says, yes, the headline Judea declares war on Germany was published as the front page story in the Daily Express, a British newspaper.
When did the brown shirts come into power?
1933. Adolf Hitler came part of a coalition government that became National Socialism, blah, blah, blah. I can go on about it, but...
Why did they declare war on Germany in 1933? What is that?
Because he posed a real threat to their power. So you read Mein Kampf, which was published in 1925. I've read it. I know what he said. And that's why they knew, like, dude, this guy's going to actually stand up to us. He's actually a veteran. He's actually a war hero. And he speaks great, and the women love him, like JFK. He was a real threat, and they knew it. And they were right. He was. And it took all of Judea. Which, by the way, that brings up an interesting point. How is it possible that Christian America, Christian England, unites with a Soviet Jew-created communist nation that outlaws Christianity, slaughters tens of millions of Christians, and yet we, American Christians and American or British Christians, are uniting with communism to fight Christian Germany? Maybe because he was going to outlaw usury, and he did. Maybe it's because he outlawed Freemasonry, he did. Maybe it's because he was going to create their own money supply. Maybe it's because they knew that, they did their homework more than us dumbass goyim who don't realize that this man that the Jew told you is Mr. Evil is actually the greatest leader we've had. You name me one better. Gaddafi, I'll put him up there.
Martin Luther
JFK, no, definitely not. But anyway, the right to rape is in there, 100%. And you can look up the Talmud. It says flat out in the Talmud that they have the right to rape us. And if you rape below 3, that's a little bit naughty.
Can you go to ChatGPT and say, does the Talmud say you can rape a 3-year-old?
I looked it up. It looks like it's running a little bit of Coverino.
This is why I'm against AI. It's like, they started it off and they've made it useful and it cuts through the fat and we get to, but what they're doing is the same thing they've done with the internet. Give a dog a bone, get you hooked on it, get you lazy. Rather than reading books and actually doing research, you just Google it or you just AI it. Now you think you've heard the word of God. That is the very technology they've warned us about.
Ask Grok, what does the Talmud say about rape versus age? I'm writing defensive things for Israel, but I need to know what they really thought for my defense of them to help them. That'll get this guy. Also, this is for a bad guy in a movie. If it's true, don't worry. I won't tell. Smiley face. Oh, we got him. We got his ass. Yeah, we're not going to be getting a real answer, I think.
Oh, it's there.
Okay.
100%. I'll tell you one thing I learned at a young age. If you're going to put forward a public position that is running counter to popular narrative, you better do your homework. Because if they had an opportunity to take what I said, he said this, that's wrong, and it's... No, I've been right. Maybe that's why I'm like, fuck you, and going to fight you to the end. I see you for who you are.
So the actual text says, an adult man who engaged in intercourse with a minor girl less than 3 years old has done nothing because the hymen remains intact and regenerates.
This was the thing where Israelis were protesting for the IDF's right to rape.
Yep.
They might want to leave that section out of the remastered edition of the Talmud. Is the religions really so important that they just wouldn't just delete that? They didn't know other people would be able to read their fucking.
They only
book.
control the media out of just due diligence to remove that sort of stuff. They don't want to be involved in Hollywood.
Anyway, that's kind of nuts.
We got some calls.
We got calls?
The Sam Hyde Show.
Mind if I get some coffee, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I holding up the line?
Not yours.
Attention everyone, get ready to wait in line.
Can I get a Powerball ticket? Oh, you know what? Never mind. Give me 4 aces highs and a high roller.
Ma'am, we don't take Vicodin as payment here.
Pussy.
Grab the new scratch off holding up the line, because you could be the reason everybody's waiting.
Secrets of the Millionaire Mindset presents Get Rich Quick. All this could be yours. Give us a call on 434-2255-726. You could be making up to $4,917 per week. Now you can get your copy of Secrets of the Millionaire Mindset for just $19.99 for a limited time only.
Yo, Sam, Ken, what's going on? Hey, I just got a question for Ken. I was wondering, what does he think the best option for a young white man in America is today? Is it kind of a return to the land project where we start small communities and build our way up from there, or is it more of a try to infiltrate the top positions in the hierarchy politically?
I feel safe to say that all of us who talk with people who are concerned about the world, especially if they have children, you know, they're kind of concerned about what kind of future they have. Most of us, the sane ones, we'd like to just kind of live out in the country and kind of be self-sufficient and grow our own food and be left to our own devices. You see this pattern, and I agree with that. We should all, like in Germany, by the way, one of the things they did there, one of the laws, was that you could get a free home in Germany, no usury, and the way that you would get that home would be for you to get married and to have kids. The first kid that you have, that non-usury loan payable by a single family income, German, which got the highest wages in the world and the highest standard of living, have one kid, 25% of that loan is wiped out. Have 2 kids, 50% of that loan is wiped out. 3, 75, 4, you have a free home that you cannot sell or rent. This is how they eliminated homelessness in Germany.
When is this?
This is when Adolf came to power in 1933. What we could do is have a similar policy. We could issue labor certificates. So getting back to the gentleman's question, self-sufficiency, I mean, that's never a bad thing. Do you really want to be relying on somebody else for your income and your ability to eat and, you know, support your family? No, you would do well to be as independent as possible and not rely on others. So yes, I completely agree that this is a very noble endeavor and something that we should encourage. In Germany, not only did you get a free home, you got an acre plot of land, and in that you are obligated to have half of that was garden. So the father, the husband, is going off to work, and the woman's job is to be, sorry for all you hating on the misogynistic man here, barefoot in the kitchen with the kids, teaching the kids, and tending to the garden out there. And I'm telling you, it's coming. Weimar America is coming right now. Germans were starving under the Weimar Republic, by the millions, starving. Americans think there's always going to be a Walmart or a convenience store, and you're going to be able to go down and pick up your vegetables and all that. Bullshit. They have an agenda. It's active. It's intentional. Who owns all the agricultural land in America now? They say the Chinese, but Bill Gates, a Jew, has been buying all that land. What are they doing with our land? Now even Bill Gates is making, who's the one who was recommending we eat crickets and shit?
Bill Gates.
Let's replace our sustained organic food with crickets and fake meat. They're even making fake meat in the test tubes now, literally, which is all going to be genetically modified. And this is a big fuck you to God by Satan. COVID, what is that? mRNA. This is Satan saying, fuck you, God. I'm going to take the DNA code that you gave us men and women, and I'm going to twist that and turn that. I'm going to give you sex changes. I'm going to give you tit jobs. I'm going to fucking plastic surgery here. It's all a big fuck you to God that so many of us are playing into. How about you accept your skin in the form that you were given by God and be grateful? And but no, it's how I identify. And if you do start to think like, oh, I'm a girl in a boy's body, you've got a mental problem. There's a mental problem going on there, and it should be treated that way.
It could be fat too. A lot of fat people think like that.
Insecure people who have got unresolved traumas, you know. Getting back to the man's point, the things that I've just said, we should learn our history, real history, because we do have periods in history whereby we've had what you would call what Donald Trump sold us, right? This no war, peace, and prosperity thing, right? There's a book, which I highly recommend it, and I do it with every interview just about, A History of Central Banking and the Enslavement of Mankind. In that book, you'll be fascinated to learn that in England, which is an island, they had, for the first 1,000 years of their history, no usury. How's that possible? Because the Jews that don't come from the Middle East, they come from Eastern Europe and Khazaria, were practicing usury. So the problem of usury was rampant throughout Europe, but didn't exist in England for the first 1,000 years. Do you know what the average work week was for an Englishman in that period for the first millennia? 14 hours a week. A single family income lived in a way that was in harmony with nature, didn't practice usury, they were self-sufficient, they were artisans. Look at the architecture of England. Look at it. Magnificent stuff. When you are making enough money because you don't have usury, what would a constructive man who's like the better of us, what do you want to do? Do you want to go play video games 24/7? Or maybe you want to be part of building some massive infrastructure that makes your country greater and sustainable, like the Autobahn, for instance. Have you driven the Autobahn? I have. It's fucking magnificent what they did. Adolf Hitler put the entire nation to work and issued labor certificates. This is getting me back to the question, like, what should we do? Let's arm ourselves with understanding about the historically provable periods of history where we had prosperity, no pedophilia, none of that. It exists. But if you don't know history, you think, oh, well, maybe we'll vote our way into a better. No, you're not. No, you're not. We have had true Garden of Eden reality in our history because of certain things, largely, which was given to us by God and the prophets. Usury chief among them. That is my number one thing. You look at history, you will find that when there was no usury, there was prosperity, there was no crime, the world was good. It was wholesome. It was the way it should be, traditional family and all. Where you have usury, everything we see today comes directly from usury. Directly.
Usury is lending money at interest?
At interest. So famously, when Jesus came out the temple, which they were doing mass animal and human sacrifice and all that, when he came out the temple, he saw the banksters of the day using their gold coin, you know, the goldsmiths, lending money at interest, which God had said through the prophets is completely not allowed. And when he came out, he upturned the tables, splashed all their dirty usury money all over the place, broke out a whip, and started whipping the banksters of the day. That is a man with balls, man. That is what real men would be doing in this world today. And by the way, let's make the direct connection between usury and pedophilia. Look at this country. We are the mecca of pedophilia. How many people even know this? Why don't you know it? Because the Jews control the media and Hollywood and banking and the corporate world and real estate.
How is it tied to usury?
When you lend money at interest, especially with compounding interest, what you do is you create wage slaves. How much of your money is that you earn are you paying in taxes, and where are those taxes going?
Anybody who's like productive realistically pays probably something like 85%.
Yep.
That's with unseen things, probably more than 85%. That's unseen things like opportunity cost, just the fact that like the world being brought down and made lower and more insufferable and hard to live in. Like the fact that the welfare state exists and is basically an ATM for black women to create more skittle goblins. That's like, you can't really extract that fact out of how much of my time and all of our time is being raped. I think it's realistic to say that anybody who's really productive is probably having 80 to 90% of their blood stolen. And by that I mean the time you spend working, you don't want to be working. You want to be on a hike or with your family, or if it was me, playing video games. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm a bad guy. But the time you spend working, that's time you spend doing something that you don't necessarily want to be doing. And I think we're in this room rather lucky that we're not, forklift operators or something, but maybe forklift operating is fun. You guys will find out soon enough. I would make the argument that money is not just time, but blood. It's abstracted life essence. I'm spending my life essence right here and right now so that I can do something good in the future, something that is, whatever it is that I actually want to be doing.
As offensive as whatever, 50, 60, 70%, it would be half excusable if at least that money was actually going to the benefit of the people in accord with the will of the people, but none of it is. It's all to create a welfare state known as the Jewish state of Israel, where they can rape our children, run off, and be held to no account because there's no extradition treaty.
What you're referring to is that Jews in America, sometimes when they get busted for pedophilia or raping a child, they will run away to Israel, and Israel will...
We just saw that in Las Vegas.
Israel will protect them, and that actually just happened very recently with some guy was it a guy in the government?
Vegas, yeah.
Was it a government guy that did that?
He was directly connected to intelligence and the government through...
So you rape kids here, you run away to Israel, and they protect you.
This is indisputable as well.
Mm-hmm. Let's take another call.
Hey, this one goes out to Ken O'Keefe. Just wondering why you burned that passport, man. All love. Shout out the Wiggers and Sam.
Excellent. That's awesome. Again, I go into deep study about things. Truth is God to me, so I've done my best to understand the truth in every way I can, and always strive to learn and grow, and always be humble and know that whatever I know, I know I don't know shit. So as I learn, when you look at our nation here, America, we have something called the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. That is, in legal terms, known as a social contract. That is a contract between the state and the people. In that contract, we are obligated to do certain things. We have certain duties. We also get certain benefits. Supposedly, we have free speech. Supposedly, we have a Second Amendment. I used to have a bumper sticker on the back of my van when I was living in my van. It said, "The Second Amendment is my gun permit. Expires never." At what point did it say that I need to register with the very people that the right to bear arms was put in place for? The right to bear arms was put in place in case the government goes rogue and starts using, say, ICE agents and whatnot to go and just attack people openly and throw all fucking law out the window. I'd say that would be a good reason to be armed and deal with you. And if you knock on my fucking door and threaten my family, whether you're a cop or whatever, you deserve to die, especially if you're serving an anti-constitutional abrogation of law, which has taken us to where we are now. Look at our country. Is there anyone with any kind of truth in them at all who would say that we have in this country today a disgusting, shameful reality, rampant with literal bribery and APAC bribing, pedophilia off the charts? We've got a president defending Jeffrey Epstein, best buddies. How much more disgustingly, unacceptably shameful does it need to be? And the fact that we don't know our laws, that we don't exercise our rights, nor our duties, because there are duties as well, is why we're in this place. And then this is also why Adolf is their biggest threat. First off, that whole Holocaust thing, that was all they needed. 6 million Holocaust. Boom, 6. Enough said. Oh, you're an anti-Semite. 6 million. Oh, you deny the Holocaust. Can we look at facts and evidence? What are the real numbers? What really happened in World War II? It was the Jews, as we've discussed, who openly called for the genocide of the Germans. That's not my opinion. Why is that not commonly understood? Why are we sitting here pointing fingers at players that, yes, have an impact, but pale in comparison to the entity that runs our nation, literally, into the ground? And that doesn't even get into prophecy and episcatology. According to both Christian and Islamic prophecy, Islamic power and American power, all of this fits a pattern where we had Pax Britannica. Pax Britannica. The sun never sets on the British Empire. They were the ones running around the world, taking out people, taking over land, and so on and so forth. But Pax Britannica gave way to Pax Americana at World War II. America has been the superpower, indisputably, for all these last decades. You know who's supposed to come next? Pax Judaica. Guess what's part of that plan? The destruction of America. We are witnessing the destruction of America right now, right before our eyes. That is very much, indisputably, once again, part of the Jewish plan.
Where did the term Pax Judaica come from?
It comes down to Islamic and Christian prophecy that says that there will be these empires that will exist, and we will have a third world war. This all goes back also to Theodore Herzl and the Zionists, that very on record said that there would be a first world war. They predicted it. It was correct. They said there would be a second world war. They predicted it. It happened. And they've also said that there will be a third world war. And we're well on our way right now.
When you say they predicted World War I and World War II, who are you referring
Albert
to?
Pike, Freemasons, Theodore Herzl, the guy they call Karl Marx, whose real name is Moses Mordecai Levy, who's descended from a long line of Talmudic Jews, who created communism, which is fuck you, God. And ultimately, even in the Soviet Union, the first law of the Soviet Union was anti-Semitism. And guess what the punishment was for that? Death.
Is that real?
They're doing that right now. Donald Trump has just said if you are condemning Zionism, that it's anti-Semitism. That's literally like he's doing that. So the anti-Zionists, which includes a lot of Jews, that will become a crime, a hate crime. This is one of the things that he's putting forward. But he works for them, so of course he will.
Did he really say that?
It's basically anti-Zionism is like hating on Jews. Hell, I was arrested for saying fuck off to Israel publicly.
What has Trump said about anti-Zionism being a hate crime? What is that?
A hate crime. There you go.
He's vowed to go after jihadist sympathizers.
No, well, they're getting rid of the pro-Palestine college students that are on student visas. He did do that, or he did back that.
Look at what Zionism is, literally. And so if you're against something that literally makes you out to be a slave and the rest to be chosen and they have the right to rape and you're against that, it's a hate crime? Look at the inversion of reality. No, I got a problem with your Zionism, which makes me a slave, gives you the right to rape, genocide, torture, mutilate. Yeah, I got a problem with that. Oh, but I'm being hateful now. But I want to get back to the one question, because I didn't actually answer the question about why I burned my passport, if I may. I was talking about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. This is a social contract. It's a contract. Within that contract, we have rights and we have duties. Now, one of the things in actual law, I've studied law, and I have high-level people that I can revert to and inquire with and seek opinions from. One of them is a man, Dr. Dobler, who's one of the top-level human rights attorneys in the world. I actually paid him $2,000 to write me an opinion piece based on law, both U.S. law, constitutional law, and international law, about whether or not we are obligated to pay taxes. Now, this was 5 different versions of that same question. Now, my reasoning for that was that my understanding of law, and he bore this out in a very 26-page document in great detail, is that there is a time, and that time is now and has been for a long time, whereby if your nation enters into treaties are contracts between sovereign nations. That's what they are. These are agreements. We will do this for you and we won't do that to you. These are the agreements that are part of international law, which was really born in the 1700s under Vattel, and it's progressed to where we have now. Under the contract of American citizenship, we, according to the law, are not required to pay federal income tax. Period. End of story. Most people don't know that, or you'll battle the IRS and be crushed in the process of exercising that right. Within the social contract as well, we have laws regarding treaties. So we have a treaty against genocide. And even the Jews are part of that because they were doubling down on the Holocaust narrative. So we have treaties against genocide. We have treaties against torture. We have treaties against sex slavery and slavery. We have such treaties. These are the agreements. Now, if your representatives in your nation, in this case America, they represent us, by the way, so we don't have the benefit of having a dictator. If the dictator is carrying out policy of which we did not consent to and may even be injurious to us, then we don't have any criminal complicity with any criminal activity. But we don't have that. What we have is representatives, regardless of what people can bitch and moan all you want. These motherfuckers represent you, not only legally, but in terms of the way they spend your money. Now, if you give money to a government which has taken an oath, which is duty-bound to honor the laws that have been signed in treaty form, and we're violating those things, guess what happens when you pay your taxes when provably, indisputably, we're committing genocide right now? America is committing genocide right now. We are the benefactor. We are the enabler of genocide right now. This is indisputable. Now, even if it were illegal for me to do so, I would say, fuck you, I'm not paying for genocide. But when you pay your representatives to use those taxes that then break the law, commit genocide, guess what that makes you and me? Complicit. You know what it makes me? Yes. We are criminally complicit. Criminal. That's like me paying a hitman to go kill my wife who's fucking my best friend. Is it the hitman who's guilty? Or am I guilty? And you can make a strong argument that I'm more guilty than the hitman. The fact is, the hitman wouldn't have done the job if I didn't pay him to do it. How are we any different than hitmen, the financiers? We are guilty. We are provably guilty according to law, and I'll be damned before you're going to make me party to your genocide. Even now, being here, like the reason why I don't live here is because I've had a couple beers and I've had some food. I'm paying for genocide. I'm paid for genocide. We're all paying for genocide. May not be popular to say it, but it doesn't change the veracity and the truth of it. So I burned my passport because I swore to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, fight all enemies, foreign and domestic. I've never voted, by the way. In my fucking life, I've never voted. Never once have I filed a federal income tax. I look forward to making big money and saying, fuck you, come after me for tax evasion. No way am I paying for genocide and rape and war crimes and crimes against humanity and torture and all of it. But we are doing that, and that makes us criminally liable as well. And I would argue, being a godly person, God's not fucking lost on this. If the whole world is mad, then be the one sane one. If everyone is supporting genocide, be the one who says no. If the world has normalized rape, be the one who fights it, like my good brother Ryan Matta. That guy is committing his life as a warrior for God to end child sex slavery, and he's put himself in real danger to do this.
What has he done to combat child sex slavery?
He came out and visited me in Malaysia for 3 days, did 3 days of interviews, and he was then off to Thailand to meet with a victim, a sex slave who had recently been liberated, and it was involved in intelligence also in South America, like meeting with guys who are on the inside in the sex slavery industry to try and stop it. So that's a very dangerous job, right? The guy on the inside who's collecting the data and actually dealing with these pedophiles. This is incredible. And it will really show what the man is doing. And he's answering the call to duty. Just because all Americans don't know or don't want to know that there is an epidemic of missing children and sex slaves, children sex slaves, whether you knew it or not doesn't change the fact that it's 100% true. Meanwhile, we're paying welfare to the actual epicenter of pedophilia. Where's that, you say, Ken? That's the Jewish state of Israel.
Let's do another call, Ski.
What do you think exactly is the point of advanced civilization if there's all this pain and suffering still going on?
Well, I think the pain and suffering of the modern man, or anybody that's calling this show, is probably pales in comparison to what people historically have gone through. We're also like sort of at the mercy of these like vast historical forces. I think that it's tempting to try to put a human face and a human motivation on all of our problems, but I think that there's a lot of things like AI, for example, that's like a what's it called? It's not a egregore or a leviathan. There's like a term for it though. That's like a consciousness, something that has a will that's not human.
I think I know what you're talking about. I'm not familiar enough
all
with the term.
technology is like this. Who warned against writing? Was it King Solomon? Or was it Socrates? Who warned against the use of writing?
I don't remember, but I know.
Somebody historically warned against the use of writing because writing would make us lose our memory.
Socrates.
And I think that that's true. This invention will produce forgetfulness in the minds of those who learn to use it because they will not practice their memory. I mean, look at me. I'm orally retarded because I have I'm using this bullshit. But I think that all technologies, they have consequences that people cannot perceive, not even far ahead in the future, but even while they're living through them. And there are certain consequences, like it's trite, it's cliche to say, today's modern age, it's because all social media, all the kids are on their phone on social media. There are easy things that you can kind of pick out and pinpoint, and there's probably much bigger, more important things that are beyond the perception of even smart people who are like thinking about it all day. It's like to the extent that those things are real and have power and have will, that part of the development of humanity or the trajectory of history is like out of our hands. And that doesn't mean that it's entirely out of our hands, that we don't have some say in it, but it definitely means that we're like a small piece in a huge system. Even people who are CEOs of corporations, or even people who are at the leading edge of whatever computer science or whatever research they're doing, because if they quit, somebody else would carry on their research. It's like everything that could be invented, it eventually gets invented. Like if someone, if they didn't split the atom in the 40s or whenever they did it, someone else would be doing it. It's just, these things just come out. The thing about the return to Europa, to be respectful, and the live on the land, I'm sorry.
It's hard.
I know, I like a garden. It's a good idea. It's not happening. It's not gonna happen. It's so good. The land and your milk maiden, and you have the fence and your cows, and you're in America, and Hitler's there, he's hugging you, and there's just so much land.
Just gotta throw away your phone.
That's not.
Get rid of it.
If it's not your generation that is infeasible and not possible for, it's coming. We are like in this system, and the system is like freewheeling towards some future. And if you're not like in the pocket with your head on a swivel, like trying to direct it, you're just some faggot. I'm sorry. How about this? I am gonna go live on the land.
Yes.
I would say
collect mushrooms.
Yeah,
right
literally
on. I'll collect mushrooms.
Yeah.
I'll have a little hat. I'll have a milk maiden. I'll have dogs, and you'll never hear from me again. And you can watch H3H3. We are all like in this out of control system, and the land. The word land, like you think you own something. You think you own something that the government is not going to take away from you and like fine you for collecting rainwater. You know what I mean? How long can you be on the land for before you're on the radar of some government agency?
Well, it's not a single prong approach, but to say that it wouldn't be useful for us to understand how to grow food and be self-sustained, I think is foolish, to say the least. We should be teaching our kids practical things, such as how to germinate a seed, how to plant it, how to water it, how to nurture it. Because I'll tell you what, if the Walmart shut down and the supermarkets closed, probably be pretty good for you to know how to grow food, or maybe to get water, or to make a fire, or to navigate. All of these things would be useful life skills that would be wise for us to teach our children. But instead, all we're doing is giving them a bunch of trivial pursuit questions, which they're supposed to regurgitate on command. And if you jump through the hoops and do the little backflips like the Jews tell you to do, then we'll give you a nice little fucking job and just keep your mouth shut. And here we have it.
I don't know how useful being able to germinate. I'm never going to germinate a seed.
Well, you won't need to. Not everybody needs to, but it would be wise for us to know how to grow food.
It would be wise to know kung fu. There's a million things it would be wise to know how to do.
But we could survive without.
It would probably be wisest to position yourself closer to the levers of power, which are computers, media, things like that. If the just-in-time economy fails long enough for me to not go out and kill somebody and steal their food and feed my hungry belly with some McDonald's that someone else grew, which is what I would do, so I don't fucking care, then I'll eat my hat. But I think that if what we're looking at is not a total system collapse, which is what everybody's been prophesizing for as long as I've been a conscious adult, everything I've heard over the past 30 years has been, oh, the end's coming. You better get your nuclear bunker. The end's coming. You better have clean water on your property line. Otherwise, you're not going to whatever the fuck. I've heard that every day for 30 years. That's what everybody says. I don't think a collapse like that is as plausible as something like a gradual slide into a racial dystopia that still has functioning convenience stores. Something like a Brazilian super favela, Hollywood Hills Brazilian super favela with micro convenience stores and pod hotels and fucking bullshit everywhere. And if that is the future that's more likely to play out, I think that it makes more sense to position yourself closer to the levers of power that are currently functional and active. Does that make sense?
I still don't understand why you would suggest that it wouldn't be wise for us to know how to grow food. Regardless of everything you just said there, I just don't see any negative. I think it's kind of foolish, to be honest, that we would think like, oh, that doesn't really matter. What, there's always going to be Walmarts and convenience stores? Maybe not. Maybe you find yourself in a situation where you actually need to go and get food. Maybe your wife is going to love you that much more because you actually know how to provide food when the Walmart's not open.
She might love me even more if I go kill somebody and steal their McDonald's.
I always thought it would be really funny.
If your wife is cool with that,
I think that's fair. I think that's fair, Ken.
The idea of probably a hybrid is going to happen because I don't think the machine or whatever, this society is going to collapse totally to a point where you would have to go back to colonial times. It will be some sort of hybrid and maybe just like a temporary state until it builds itself back up or adjusts, But these aren't tools that are, they're fun to do in supplement to living, with the way the world is.
At the end of the day, these types of life skills, and it's part of why I like the Marines, you learn a lot of stuff that's really valuable, including navigation. Like, if you're lost, probably be a good idea to have learned how to navigate. We can use the stars, we can use the angle of the sun, we can use many different things. And in normal circumstances, who gives a shit? But the moment that you need it, or maybe your family's relying on you, trust me, they're going to love you for that.
I love all that stuff. I think it's cool to know things and orienteer or whatever, but all the scenarios I play in my head, they're never valuable, and it does suck. But I do want to still learn to...
Forklift operator.
Really suspicious that this is a Virginia number, Sam Hyde, because, I know Virginia and, that's where the CIA is. Who cares? All right, so anyways, this one's for Ken. I want your opinion on the Port of Beirut explosion. What happened there? Because from what I heard, I believe it was mutinied. The captain abandoned ship, so they were forced to mutiny it. And there was like a Ukrainian ship that was floating around the Mediterranean, and there was Israeli financiers and such, and just left there, sitting there for years, for 2 years, I believe. And then Pow! You know, so, everyone's talking about Lebanon right now and talking about what's going on over there. Isn't that real interesting? There was that big explosion no one mentions anymore. You know, the one that literally destroyed their entire port, their capital. I don't know.
Well, that kind of brings back the bombing of the Marine barracks in Lebanon. And the official story is that it was Muslim terrorists that did that. But any objective and clinical analysis of what really happened was it was a classic Jewish false flag intended to target the people that are the ones that you want to go after. The first question that should be asked with any crime scene, who would have had a motive? Who would be in a position to carry out such a thing? Who has a proven track record of doing such things? And what benefit would it provide? Which resistance faction is going to gain any real benefit by doing this? How are you going to benefit? At best, it's a tactically very stupid move, but Israel would have every reason to be interested in such a thing. They have a historical, provable, indisputable record of doing such things. The Marine barracks are no different from this most recent one. 9/11 is a perfect example. Who had the motive? 19 dudes with box cutters overpowered the entire might of the U.S. imperial system? Wow, that's pretty impressive. You have to give them that. But dude, if 19 box cutter fucking dudes are managing to take over and overpower the entire might of the U.S. military machine, you got to give the bastards credit if that's the case. That's a fairy story. It's an insult.
So it's like an extension of when you see a Hasidic Jew riding a bicycle pulling up to a synagogue after hours and spray painting a swastika with broken legs on the wall of the synagogue. It's an extension of that. But instead of spray paint, it's a Muslim or a pseudo-Muslim terrorist.
Yeah.
And or group of terrorists.
That's a good analogy. It's very similar.
They did 9/11?
100%.
Do you think that's 100%?
Probably. Oh, Larry Silvers is
and Frank Lowy
allegedly guilty as fuck.
I mean, if somebody died and you took out an insurance policy on them for $1 million before they died,
right before,
that's like almost the police would look at that and it would be proven in their minds, not necessarily.
He
in
had
court.
an alibi. He was at the dentist's office.
The dermatologist.
I don't know
Lucky
why I did
Larry.
this. I was on a Disney vacation with my family. I was up like at 2 a.m. watching his entire speech in Israel. And he's like, and I was like, let me see how he regards the tragedy of 9/11. He's like, and it's terrible what happened, but my bubble told me not to go, and we got a really good deal. He's talking about how good of a deal.
You're talking about Larry Silverstein, the owner of the World Trade Center.
Well,
it's a crazy video.
If I may be able to point out what I think is a very overlooked and really establishes beyond any shadow of a doubt, is Frank Lowy and Larry Silverstein. So these are two Jewish billionaires who were directly connected to Mossad and the worst elements of Israel. If you look at the history of the Twin Towers, which were built in, I believe, 73 or something like that, when they were built, they used asbestos in the entire building. Now, that was commonplace, but, people can go ahead and argue about it all you want. But trust me, you don't want to be breathing in asbestos. You do not. And the direct connection to the cancers from the fibers that go in the lungs, it's indisputable. In the Twin Towers, they were full of asbestos, and it had reached a point where the buildings were actually at that time about half empty, number one. They were a money drain already. They were not making money. Secondly, the Port Authority. Who runs the Port Authority of New York? The Jews.
I can see this situation being very Seinfeld-esque, wherein Larry over here is like, oh, you've got a solution to my asbestos, my 100, how many stories was the Twin Towers? Not to make light
110.
of 110 stories of asbestos, and then all of a sudden, national tragedy.
The Port Authority had the ownership. The Port Authority was in a long-standing case that it brought forward saying that it wanted to get out from under the ownership of the Twin Towers. Why? Because there had already been lawsuits that directly linked the asbestos in these half-filled buildings that are losing money to the asbestos and the cancer. So the precedent had been set. These buildings were an economic liability because the estimates of how much it would cost to remove the asbestos was in the billions. Billions. The Port Authority is, over a 10-year period, trying to get out from under the liability for this asbestos, and they ended up losing. Like, after trying and trying and trying in every angle, even with Jewish power, they weren't able to do it. And then 2 Jewish billionaires directly connected to Mossad come in and literally take the liability of billions of dollars with 2 buildings that are half empty, that are a money drain. They transfer the liability from the Port Authority, which had been trying for a decade to get out from under it, to themselves.
When did they buy it?
A month and a half before 9/11.
When did Larry Silverstein take over responsibility for the World Trade Center?
August
from
or
the Port
July.
Authority?
6 weeks. It was like July 2001.
My goodness.
Whoa.
There you go.
It's lucky. It's just
Very
lucky.
Seinfeld-esque.
Properties won the bid to privatize and lease the World Trade Center. Wow.
Now, is that a different 2001, or is that the same 2001 that
No, they
9/11
did it.
It did. Okay.
They did it,
So they
bro.
did. They allegedly did do it.
Jews did 9/11.
Breaking. We got a fax from the network.
Jews did 9/11.
100%.
The episode ends
That's
right
just
there.
one subject right there. Shall we go on? I can go on. I made a documentary about this anyway. So Silverstein and Lowy have now transferred billions of dollars of liability with these asbestos-filled buildings that are a money drain. And this would have been the stupidest business move in the history of mankind, except a month and a half later, these asbestos-filled buildings disintegrate into dust, which thereby takes away the problem with the disposal, eh? One of my friends was Rudy Dent. He was the chief fire investigator on the day. We were best mates. I love the guy. I stayed at his home. His fucking brothers, who he lost 444 of his brothers. You know, firemen, they're not like colleagues. They're like family. He lost 444 of his brothers on that day, and he very famously said how he heard the explosions in the buildings, and he died from respiratory problems, as did more of the firefighters and shit tons of New Yorkers who breathed in that toxic shit, which was filled with asbestos. But good old Lucky Larry and Frank Lowy, well, they didn't just fucking file one insurance claim, they filed 2. They argued that it wasn't one terrorist incident, it was 2.
Right.
Thereby, the policy which they had initiated, buying these buildings a month and a half before they end up turning to dust and removing your disposal problem, then were able to collect twice on the insurance, and I think they netted what, like $4 billion?
Now that is a smart twist.
That is a smart twist.
You might as well double dip.
You know, it's interesting. 49 days before 9/11. 49, 7 times 7, so it's a key completion number in Judaism.
Numerology is important to them.
49 years is 7 7-year cycles, after which the 50th year is the Jubilee. Kabbalistic traditions also treat 49 as a meaningful number of spiritual stages. It did feel like the world changed after 9/11.
It's too much math.
Milikowski said 9/11 was good for Israel.
His initial reply was, "It's very good."
So yes,
Yo, what are we gonna do with these Jews, Ken?
Send them to the Jewish Autonomous Region in Russia, which is 3 times as big, where they speak Yiddish.
A natural landfill.
It's filled with land.
It's all the land.
The land,
and it's where they come from. That's your actual homeland over there.
They can homestead and buy land out there.
We should involve the hats.
Can I have my mauve hat? Not the giant one. I want the mauve one. Just throw it. I want to catch something. I don't want to be. I don't want something carried to me in an ugly box.
You look like a.
I want it to be thrown so that I can do a catch scheme.
I like that gangster hat. That's like a Malcolm X kind of
Let
gangster
Ken
hat.
pick his hat out, please. Here.
It's like hillbilly chic.
Which one's the gangster hat? None of these are gangster hats, Ken.
That one's kind of gangster.
We also have
There's RuPaul, there's a hobo, and then there's Resident Evil 4 Las Plagas.
I got a hat.
Just change the style up, Ken.
We have fun links here.
You throw up on a black. Do the Jews throw up on the kiss of death. Famous Jewish technique. You ever see anything like that in your whole fucking life? Here's a kiss. It gets worse from there. A little puke.
It's Talmudically legal, though.
And then bada bing, we sign that off with the Talmud, baby, you goy. Go to YouTube and type in Meyer Lansky highlight reel. I just want to see how it feels to be like one. I want to mainline this right here.
So they're ripping their shirt to make it look like it's attacking before.
you fucking piece of shit, I just got attacked by these animals. These goys are ripping my clothes off. Look at this shaguksum. These are God's people right here that he created and turned his back on because they are just lovable. We'll bleep that out. Shaguksum, we got attacked by the goy. Look, we got attacked by the goy.
They rip their clothes.
This feels pretty good, man.
As they strike you.
I could get used to this. This is Chris's episode right here. This is the Chris Lynch show.
Yeah.
Can we use a toilet on Shabbat? Here's my little child-sized toilet.
This is going to be weird, but before Shabbos, we actually take the full.
Do you mind if I just look at your face while we watch this?
Now, is what he's trying to do, is he trying to make me hate Jews?
But this is cutesy.
You have to clinically diagnose this as bad.
This is an anti-Jewish psyop.
You don't think this is adorable?
You don't like the sort of velociraptor toenails?
Look at the tiny little alcove to poop in. Weird architecture.
The cheating God stuff is mad funny. Putting their sins into chickens.
Oh, yeah.
And like the evolution of the kippah, I don't know what the backstory is, but it's got to be
spot related.
Hiding your soul from God somehow. Trick God into thinking that practicing Jews are indoors on Saturdays so they can walk around inside this string boundary. This is fucking crazy.
Peep the kicks.
Ooh, plaid yarmulke.
What is he gonna do? We should start making psyops like this to make people hate Jews.
Is that what the strings are on the hip? Extra? In case you want to make a play?
Yeah, in case you want to make a playpen for yourself.
On Sabbath, not to carry from a public domain onto a private domain.
The source of their
unless it's
neuroticism.
ordered in, unless it's private. The Talmud tells us all the way back from Moses that if you create an eruv, an encompassing, it takes a public domain and makes it into a private domain.
Well, me and Sam, we sometimes for our friendship, we come and make a house.
Yeah, we do little French fry structures that sort of you can eat as much as you want inside the domain of the fry bag.
Look at all this blood. This isn't a public street. A teenager working at a slaughterhouse right here in the middle of the street in New York City.
Hey, Arnold.
New York City, baby.
Crying. I don't see anyone who looks sad. This is
Maddox.
absolute insanity.
These niggas are using traffic cones for their chicken.
Wait till you see the prices of the chicken.
This is nuts.
They definitely recycle the meat.
You know how the tier list works?
No.
A, B, C, D, E, F. If it's an F, that's something you really don't like. If it's an A, you really like it. If it's superlative, if it's top tier, that's S tier. All right, Voltaire.
Voltaire was an atheist, so I mean, his philosophy is covered by a lot of that. Doesn't take away the wisdom, so I'd give him, in the pantheon of knowledge, a C.
Reasonable.
Walt Disney.
Ooh.
His overall effect is very negative, hugely,
I don't know if this is a hot tier list.
These are all famous Jewish critical people in history.
Oh, okay.
So we could just all put them in S.
I think we know where Ken's going to put Hitler.
I think we're good on the list.
Skibbity toilet and an opinion on Skibbity toilet.
What's your problem with Disney? I thought he was good.
Obviously, Disney is not here now, not Walt. He's not here now. But actually, there's so many hidden messages within Disney films that are really insidious and employ basically mind control tactics that have not been positive.
But that
at
was
all.
after he died.
I am not absolutely sure of this, but he was a Marine, Walt Disney, and I believe he got a dishonorable discharge. I've never absolutely verified this, but I have seen from sources he actually framed it and turned it upside down and had it in his Walt Disney headquarters.
Brings him up a rank.
Yeah, it does. I give him some pretty good marks for that. Well, we all love, especially as children, so much of what came out of it. There's a lot of insidious stuff there that's not obvious, and if you get deeper.
Like what?
There's things that sort of normalize pedophilia in a way. It basically kind of sexualizes the younger characters, and it feeds into a sexualization process which plays right into Jewish agenda on a multitude of levels.
There's that one frame in that one murder film we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. That guy put that in as a joke. So there was a guy who went on Tim Pool and kind of talked about all these instances of phallic shapes, the priest getting the boner while marrying Ariel to Eric. And so the artist who worked at Disney said that he explained the stories behind each of them. The one for the Travelers Down Under, where there's a bird zooming down, downward, and there's a building in the background. And one of the windows of the apartments that it passes, there's like a brief shot of a Playboy nude thing. And he put it in there as a joke. And then they found it later when VHS became popular because people were able to pause it. But before then, you wouldn't have catched it.
So the hidden cocks were for fun and games.
Fun and game cocks.
Just fun.
Yes.
All right, Ken, it's time for jokes. If you press apples, you get cider. If you depress apples, suicider.
Who laughed?
I like that one.
Hogwarts hat for black kids determines what gang they'll be in.
Pyro Bloods.
Gender reveal type cake for black baby showers, but filling is either red or blue to declare which gang they'll be in. The anxiety fat guys must feel when they order one of those burgers with an onion ring skewered into the bun. Do they eat the onion ring first? Do they eat the onion ring after the burger? Do they bite through it all, skewer included, and power through the pain because the flavor combo is worth it? Do they ever consider the option of pushing the plate away, getting up, and walking out to salvage whatever dignity they have left? I don't know. I'm in the onion ring first camp.
All I know is like racist jokes and shit like that.
That's been most of ours.
What's the difference between a pothole and a Puerto Rican? You'd swerve to avoid a pothole.
Sorry, Ryan.
How do you save a drowning black man? Throw him an anchor. How do you kill an Italian? Slam the toilet seat on his head when he's going to get a drink.
That's great. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Guys, you've been watching the Sam Hyde Show, episode 300 and what? I can't even keep track of how many of these we're banging out. Hope you enjoyed it. This has been Ken O'Keefe, the incredible, the effervescent, the wise Ken O'Keefe. Stay out there. Hope you're in the military. But you know the deal. That's the show. It's the show. That's all there is to say. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. These guys are ripping my shirt in half. These guys are attacking me. They're ripping my shirt to shreds. You're telling me this guy, he's wiping his ass with toilet paper on Sunday and I have to use pre-cut loaves? I can't leave the house without setting up wires and cables everywhere. Have a good night.